contract. We live in a point where marriage is antithetical to the biblical covenant of marriage and the government contract, where you literally have billboards with divorce attorneys saying, hey, this is how you can fleece somebody. We go on to same-sex marriage, then we go on to make our cake. It's not just tolerate and allow us to share, share in the will and have shared property rights, right? Tax breaks. No, now it's you will service our wedding, and then it gets to, by the way, I'm not just a man, I'm also a man and a woman, and you have to accept this. We legislate. Now there is no such thing as men and women. And guess what? Hey, not only is there no such thing as men and women, here's how we get from that with adults to children. With the DSM-4, that's a gender dysphoria.
Morning, Dirty.
Am I clear? Everyone following this? No fault, same-sex marriage, where we are now. Now we get to the transgenderism thing. DSM-4, that's a gender dysphoria, was a mental disorder where someone believed, meaning was deluded into thinking that they were born in the wrong body. Just like body dysmorphia, whether you were anorexic or a bodybuilder who looked in the mirror, saw veins in your lower pelvis, and thought that you were fat. These were all categorized the same as disorders. DSM-5 switched it to gender dysphoria. Now is no longer a disorder. It's the symptoms associated with being born in the wrong body. Well, what does that mean now? When someone says, hold on, how can you just choose to be a man today? They say, no. I was falsely identified. I'm misgendered by a doctor at birth. So now the gender issue applies the moment you leave that birthing room. Hey, now kids as young as 0 and an hour are subject to the gender bender that we have, modern gender 3, which was designed, of course, to do away with the idea of father figures and the patriarchy. And now it's not, I chose to be a guy when I was 14.
Normal day today.
I was always a guy, or I was always a woman, even when I was 6 years old playing Little League and I was clearly a boy. And so now the government gets to step in and say, hold on a second, parents, these kids are ours now. Do you want some puberty blockers or a sex change? That's why those people are not going to go after sex traffickers with the same kind of zeal that they will your local weed dealer.
All of that comes with, it's the same goal to break up the
I'm hoping so too.
Yes.
Isn't that
that's the
goal of all what you just said?
Yes.
It all leads to that.
It all leads to that, and too many people on the right have allowed it to happen.
Yeah, and it leads to, and finally we're pushing back, but it took getting to Drag Queen Story Hour, where a 50-year-old who thinks he's a woman has his thong-flossed ass shaking in front of a kid, and that's finally the line where we're like, whoa, hold on, how did we get here? We've been saying we're going this direction. What the hell have you been doing? Have you not been paying attention?
Yeah.
This entire time has been heading to here. Here is the only place that this could have led to.
Yeah.
You not understand that when you get rid of all of these morals and protecting the most vulnerable among us? It is going to go there.
Yeah, well, that's why politics has a bigger hand in it than people want to admit.
You're exactly right.
I mean,
I always hate it when people say, like, oh, I'm not political. It's like, well, guess what?
It's a cop.
I know. And then they'll say, you make everything political. Oh, okay. How is sex trafficking not political?
I'm not saying about her because she's
no.
And I wasn't at her age. I was, I wasn't either. But she's doing great.
Of course, yeah.
It's going to be something else.
No, I think she's going to do great work, but I think, unfortunately, you're going to end up with this hitting you in the face when you deal with our politics and understanding what it is.
There's going to be attacks. There's going to be attacks on her. They're going to try to discredit who she is and what she does. And she's got a grudge, and this is just a personal vendetta against porn. This is not the case. It's not real. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Like, they're going to come out and say all those things. But
when do we start doing that?
You know what it is?
The battle over the bow coins, huh?
You know why?
Seriously,
because they cut us off. They cut us off the knees. The tiny particles. Here's how they do it, right? It's no vagina, no opinion on abortion. That doesn't work anymore. Right? They have to change their sign.
Oh, y'all gonna die.
Sorry. I meant no gender identity. Right? Hands off our.
One of my best jokes.
I don't
it's
know.
a sundress. Yeah. Do you have? I used to have a bit about that going on with the signs and how long they got.
My special, when I said, how many women here think the guy should decide the abortion issue? Of course, they're raised,
Yeah.
And I say I agree. You say guys shouldn't decide the abortion issue because they've never carried a baby. And I go, you've never carried a football. Get the fuck off sports. And everywhere I told that,
I don't know. I probably will.
Oh, really?
No, not
Just depends. It's going to be busy today. I'm hoping.
Realization.
Always hoping it's going to be busy, and then it's not.
Argue with that?
Yeah.
Friggin' logic.
Well, I think also part of guys are like, huh.
Holes to fill up.
I don't want to. This is supposed to be.
They don't show up today. They better be there tomorrow.
No, but this is right. So what they do is they say, well, you can't because you're a man. The people, okay, do you know the people who hauled out pedophiles, like in Russia, by the way, Russia wrong about a lot of things. I'm very pro-Russia pedophile policy. Right? Or remember that one child
He
rapist?
shot himself in the back.
He stabbed himself in the back.
Stabbed himself.
He
in the back,
stabbed
30
himself in the back 36 times.
after digging his grave.
You may not like what he does with
All right,
children,
have
but
fun.
you have to respect discipline with suicide. This guy made it happen. They just the coroner was like,
Yep.
the coroner said, yes, stop the thing. Ah, okay, that is typical pedophile suicide.
That's what you love about Russia, though.
Yeah.
They put it out there anyways. They know, they want,
Yes.
we're going to tell him he stabbed himself in the back 36 times.
Yes.
You'll know what we're talking
I
about.
don't like their methods, but I do like the results.
We
Yes,
will
the
tell
way they market.
Nice.
the certificate of death will say suicide by stabbing back 36 times, and it will be put up like a flag in community.
Pedophile suicide. That's the pedophile.
With body, yes, that's right. With body, make sure we don't suture wounds. We want to make sure they're fresh.
Let's go for 40 next time.
Let's go for 40. Come on, let's not be quitters.
So close.
But the people who used to stand in the pocket were men, right? It had to be men. It had to be the fathers. But what happens when you say, oh, male privilege? It's shut up. It's, hold on a second. Of course, we have this is a largely white country. White men are the single voting bloc that are the most overwhelmingly conservative. White privilege. No uterus, no opinion. Hey, we can't have it all, right? We can't have it. We have to make a choice, is what women will say very often. Right? So they try and box guys here. We can't be a stay-at-home mom and also work 9 months. 9 months and I don't get paid that just because I was born a woman? What? Yeah. 9 months you're not working. There are other people who also have to be paid. You know what? Men say, hey, hold on. Must be nice to have a choice. Men don't get a choice to stay at home because they were expected to go out and kill the pedophiles. But now you have so many men who are scared to say anything. Oh, wait, maybe grooming is, hold on a second. Who do you think runs public schools? You want to go up against us? And it's a bunch of Karens tapping their toes, and now you have library books that groom children. Men are silent. They're afraid this has to start with women. The change has to start with women, mothers, and at least allowing the fathers to protect their children. That's why men have been browbeaten in silence. Fathers, are pedophiles' only natural predator.
That's right. You can't remove us from the game. And I've come.
We are the orca to their great white shark.
There you go. I've come a long way. We've had these conversations before. I believe in justice.
Yes.
Just to be clear.
Yes.
I believe in the justice system running its course, and I think that should always be the case. But if there ever was a reason to take justice in your own hands, I can understand why a father would. Yeah, I really can. Now having young kids, I'm like, listen, and it really is the innocence of young kids. Like that's the thing that you look at and you're like, ooh, I got to protect that.
Yeah.
And somebody actively steals that for a moment,
right? Of
this idea that pleasure and myself are the only things that exist in the world, and I can use everybody and everything around me to achieve that goal. Mm-hmm. It's pervasive. It's a lot of these big creators out there. I'm not even going to name names because people get pissed off. A lot of these big creators, I just pursue that happiness. It leads to all these really bad places. That happens to my son. I don't know how. The only thing that keeps me from going that far is that I have another son and I have a wife, and I have to be there, right? But I don't know. I just was thinking about it.
You do that to the pedophiles on the block to put you away from murder.
What was that guy's Jerry? Oh, what was that? No.
Gary back.
Gary Close.
Gary, one of the real heroes.
What were about to say?
Well, you made the point that fathers are the natural
predators of pedophiles.
Yes. And it reminded me of a story when me and my brother were young. We're like playing football in the front yard on like a Friday. This pastor of a church comes down the street. He's walking down the street saying hi to people. Comes over to me and my brother and asks us if we want to go to a Celtics game. My father's working in the garden.
It's a good deal.
my father's working in the garden, and I see him looking up. My father never went to church. Okay, my mother still every Sunday goes to church. But I see my father kind of watching, and Father Burton took out Father Kevin took out the. He's been dead for 100 years. What am I saying? But he took out so my father and just goes, they're good. He just stepped in between us before he even knew what was going on.
Yeah.
And then I brought that story up years later. 10 years ago, our whole family went to Italy, And I said what you just said to my sister. I go, dads have a natural instinct to sniff that shit out. And she got so mad at me.
Yeah.
And we got in a big, ugly fight.
Yeah, and you know what? That's the thing.
She's dead now.
Oh,
anyway,
sorry.
no, I killed her right there. Right in Rome.
Well,
No, I didn't. But we did. I remember getting an argument with my older sister about this.
Yeah, no, it's super important. This is what dads look. This is if there's only one value to patriarchy, how about violence towards pedophiles?
Right.
I would say that's a perk. It's a start.
How is it a negative?
Yeah, I know. Well, men are just. This was the first thing that became really popular on the website. And a lot of the website went just the write-ups, and Bronigan does great work there. There was a guy at Salon who wrote an article that said, "I'm a pedophile. I'm not a monster." And they put this up on their website. It was their It was their top story. And me and a researcher here who was anonymous, we found the guy's back then message boards were really big. We found his forums. We cross-referenced with his IP address. We were able to find a lot of information. He was currently grooming a child. And then we wrote a whole, like, this person is a monster. And then Salon, or maybe it was Slate, by the way. It might have been Slate, either Salon or Slate.
I thought it was Salon.
I think it was Salon. They wrote another piece where this pedophile claimed victim status, saying, "My last 2 weeks in the right-wing hate chamber." And it's like, you're grooming children. You're grooming children. So that means there were several people at Salon or Slate, I don't want to misquote, it was one of those, several people there who knew that this person was currently grooming children and decided that, you know what, it's more important that they point out that they're a victim of right-wing men and their hateful rhetoric toward this pedophile. Now, how the story ended is we found some more information, released it, and then Slate or Salon wiped it all off. Gone. Because they realized this person was a monster. But it shouldn't even start with the pedophile should come in to the pitch room and so I'm a minor attracted. Nope.
Done.
You should hit a button like Dr. No where they drop through the floor.
Into a
when you have to manipulate the language,
yes.
When that's your first move to manipulate the language that's been around forever, that's a sign. You're
minor attracted person. And like, no, it's wood chipper.
And people, thank you. Exactly. And people, and people fall for that.
Every last inch of you, including the Nike.
Feet first.
Yes. Feet first to keep the feeling.
Yes.
Yeah. It's
painful for
acid
your
bath.
pleasure.
This is the and like men have been so browbeaten into it really does go back to feminism.
Yeah.
It really does go back to feminism. Look, here's one thing too. Like men are consistently, and from the biblical perspective, like it's very clear. The Bible goes like, don't be prone to violence. Like be gentle with the people who require you being gentle, meaning your family, people you love. But out there, be as violent as you need to be. Right? The Bible is very violent. That's what it says. Men, your nature, bridle the violence to only use it when appropriate. And then to women, don't be gossips and nags. Gossip is mentioned 150 times in the Bible. I think, if I'm not mistaken, like sexual promiscuity is like 70. It's the most mentioned sin.
Ray Rice is mentioned 3 times in Genesis.
Yes.
I know he is, yes. His right hook and his drag on the elevator, too. Oh, that was a different one. Sorry.
Was that not Ray Rice?
That wasn't Ray Rice.
Who was
Yeah,
that?
Was that the other running back? Was it Ray Rice?
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the linebacker who shot somebody.
No. Ray Rice was in
That was
the
Ray
Yeah,
Lewis.
no.
Yes.
I was going to go with Ray Lewis, but I went with Ray Rice.
Ray Rice, yeah. Same team, though.
Yeah. Not to confuse with the other beating on camera.
Missed a spot. Yeah.
Little Ray Rash. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Maybe a little bit.
Hey, can
I just
go
had
real
that
quick?
chip
Please.
fixed yesterday.
The title that we chose
They
for
did-
this
they-
one, I understand that
They did a
sometimes
structural
they-
fix instead of a cosmetic fix, so you can probably see it just a hair right there. Right there.
If somebody's in your car and you're listening to this, it's like, hey,
Supposed to keep it from spreading.
We are a pornography hub.
Well, no, I don't think that's really our fault. It's
That's
just
how the
that
insurance fixes it for free.
Oh, did it?
Well, for free.
We didn't do just Pornhub exclusive. It was the whole
I
time.
don't know if it'll affect my rates, but my
My
second,
He's driving an Uber.
this is my second windshield on this vehicle, though, so.
He switched it to Nick's friend.
LatinoHousewives.org.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll be smoking a cigarette listening to jazz in 2 minutes. Yeah.
Is that the rich?
I have no idea anymore. What is a stereotype now? You lay back with a vape?
I don't know.
I mean, Anthony Clark had a great thing because I had sex with a fat girl. After we had sex, we smoked a ham.
Green, dude,
Grab some
go!
chats, by the way.
What a show.
Stupid
I
motherfuckers.
said, yeah, it's a difference.
Seriously.
Yeah, this was awesome.
It's a great
Yeah,
show.
no, these things.
The fuck, man?
A question from Galadin. For those of us watching, what would you say is the best action we can take to at least start a systemic change in the arena of child exploitation? Donations, protests, letters to the Senate, etc.?
Okay, so the first thing you do is you make sure that you are monitoring. When people say, oh, if you don't look, it's your job to take care of your kids, not when they are being actively preyed upon through marketing, right? So the first thing you have to do is control the devices in your house, make sure that your kids have, I don't know the best software right now.
Especially the white vibrator. All right, go ahead.
Well, that should be put in like a biometric safe. So make sure that you're protecting your kids at home with everything that you can. Make sure you have these conversations with them. Make sure you know where they are going to school. If they shouldn't be going to public school, you can just talk about this quite a bit. Make sure that you are aware of their friends, social, all these things. You have to first take care of your children. Then make sure that you are taking a role. Right. For example, Loudoun County we're talking about. Yeah. The only way that man gets arrested, that man gets treated that way, is if enough people around are comfortable with it. There have to be so many of you. This is the final. Every single time, you need to be a thorn in their side. If a Karen is going to be mad about the HOA because of the color of your face, you need to be mad the second a nipple is shown to your 4-year-old, just to be clear. You need to be on it all the time and make sure that your local representatives are also on it. It is one of those things you cannot take your foot off the gas, and especially if you are a father, it falls upon you. This is on your shoulders, and moms, wives, support that man. And you know what? If he comes home and he just knocked a pedophile out and put him in a shallow grave with 37 stab wounds in his back, help him drive out of town.
That's right. You got to take a roll. Make sure it's not Klinger from MASH.
Johnny Boy out there's going nuts. I never watched MASH. Which one was Klinger?
Klinger was the guy who was dressed up like a woman. I don't think you guys are 11 years old. I'm sorry.
No, Johnny Boy. You talk about he knows everything about MASH.
The suicide is painless again. The suicide thing, right?
What?
Yeah, that was the theme song. Who did it?
I thought Klinger did the whole ceremony where he joking. Anyway, I don't want to get into MASH.
Oh, I like this. It's terrific.
Talk sports.
Actually, need to follow against heroes.
I think you covered all those points. I just want to highlight one of them. The government needs to step in on this. They're breaking the law right now. Like
what are we talking about?
Representatives have to step
Government
in.
needs to step in. Yeah, right.
Right now about what they are doing.
No, just deal with it.
To make this a big deal.
Deal with these fuckers.
They have to make this a big
Fuck
deal.
the
This is what
government.
they're supposed to be doing.
Naive little
Otherwise,
states.
You got to get new people.
They're too busy.
Yeah, vote harder.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. But they're too busy covering up for this weekend at Bernie's president we have. Yep. Who's basically not even there, and literally.
And by the way, I am the apprehension. The ID law it's not a fix. It's not enough. And I understand that there are a lot of conservatives going, I shouldn't have to enter my ID. I understand that. And by the way, no, what needs to be done is these companies need to be held supremely accountable. They certainly need to verify. In other words, if we're on YouTube and someone can sit down to do a change my mind, sign a letter of consent, and then YouTube in flagrant disregard, violation of actual single-party consent laws, when someone says, I didn't like the way it turned out when I yelled that every man is a rapist, and YouTube says you have to take it down or blur their face. And by the way, sometimes they don't allow us to blur the face of someone who consented to being on camera. They simply remove it. Something can absolutely be done from Pornhub.
Yeah, exactly. Saying the word tranny on YouTube is enough to get us a strike. We've got to be able to make sure that showing child pornography on porn is enough to get
or pornography of a grown adult who didn't consent to it.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea how easy extortion is in 2023? You used to have to pull a Watergate or something, find them with some Colombian hooker in the wrong hotel. Right. Now it's it's just, hey, you had consensual relations with someone at that point. You want to get back at them, release it. Yeah. Release the naked pictures that you had in a consensual marriage or the consensual relationship, whether you're a Christian. Just period. The point is, everything can be used against one. I think that's the problem that we live in is you lose trust. You need to be able to have trust right when you are in relationships. By the way, not just with your spouse, with your friends, with your buddies. This same stuff can happen where you have friends who they go, oh, you know what? I don't like this guy anymore. He's an asshole. And they decide to reveal private information that is not illegal, but maybe is embarrassing. Hey, you want to know why men don't get help? Why do you think white men don't get help? Because the biggest thing they fear is shame. Not violence, is shame. So they don't want to divulge if they need help or struggling because they know it can be used against them at any point in court or the court of public opinion. And that's not a place we want to live. End point.
Well, the country, you know, that's where lawyers come in. It was so litigious.
Yeah.
Anybody has,
Yeah.
right? It's a game for them. They keep the ball in the air. They change the rules so they can make and it compounds what we're already talking about.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right. It gives people leverage.
Yeah.
Over.
Well, like for example, okay, you know, Brian Callen was.
Go ahead, Bronco. Where are you going?
Right. And I know he didn't like to tell you because he got over, but it was very clear. This happened with a lot of people. A lot of people out there who are false Me Too. Some people are monsters. Harvey Weinstein.
Lane,
an
15th
entire show devoted to we need to deal with these monsters. But the reason that a lot of big name comedians didn't come in and defend him wasn't because they'd ever committed a crime or because they'd ever engaged in non-consensual relationships, but because they were comedians who sit on the road and certainly have a high body count. And they're going, wait a second. Who did I maybe sleep with who might be mad at me now? And so they don't stand up for their friend because they can be falsely Me Too. That's very new in today's era. That's a problem. And so the people who want standing up for the helpless won't do it because the false Me Too, like we talked about Lena Dunham, is amplified more than the actual sex trafficking. Think of how many stories you will see about a celebrity, about Kevin Costner's marriage, for crying out loud. About, I don't know, remember Rob Lowe's sex tape?
Yeah.
Rob Lowe, he lost his career back in the day. His sex tape was completely consensual, right? That stuff makes it front page. How often do you hear about 42 million slaves? How many times are you going to hear about Pornhub? How often do you hear when some of these lawyers, by the way, get out there and they get brought up on extortion charges? That's what happens. So people are afraid now is the falsehood is amplified wider than the truth, even though the truth is more damaging. And that's why I say here at Mud Club, I don't care unless you're a murderer, rapist, or pickpocket, it's none of my business. But in this case, we're dealing with actual rapists.
Howdy,
likely some murder and certainly some pickpocketing if you're still
welcome effing
paying for pornography in 2023. Next chat. Rob's Comedy Playhouse, September 15th. Next Apollo.
Check him out. Look at that right there.
The old country.
Turn 2. Great show. How do we balance prevention, punishment, and healing for victims?
Completely separate. You silo it off, right? They don't need to. They don't need to know what you're doing with the pedophile. They just need to know that it's taken care of.
Justice.
And then you get them whatever help they need. You know, I don't know. You send them tips treats.
I'm eating the burger.
Process. Yeah.
It's a process.
It is. And look, this is where I think the church can do a better job. And some churches do a pretty good job. Like I said, I've talked about this. I've actually worked with people here in obviously in the United States, in the area where I live in Texas. And churches have programs that reach out to local communities. You think this is a far off problem. You think that it's something that is happening over in Cambodia and Indonesia and Thailand and all those places. And it is. Those are the biggest problems. You know what the number one event in the United States for human trafficking is? Like the number one event that
Super Bowl.
Sex Traffic Palooza?
No, the human trafficking is associated with the Super Bowl.
Really?
Literally the Super Bowl. So by the grace of God, I think in 2011 when the Super Bowl was here, there was this huge ice storm that happened. I think the day or two before the Super Bowl.
It's starting to sound familiar.
It actually stopped that kind of stuff. Like they were preparing for it. They always plan for it because they know around the Super Bowl, I guess because of the elites that it brings in, trafficking is rampant. Underage, especially trafficking, is rampant around those events. It's happening around you. You just don't know.
So sex traffickers don't like the cold temperatures?
Well, the ice storm shut the city down, so it made travel really difficult until the actual day of the game. I think the day of the game it actually kind of thawed out a little bit, but it slowed some of that down.
Jeez.
Dry ice their balls
There
off.
you go. Hey,
Where the fuck are you going?
Have Super Bowls and outdoor cold stadiums.
Fucking moron.
There you
That's
go.
a fair point.
Or just like the Minneapolis, Roadrunner with the Wile E. Coyote, they put up a wall where you paint Super Bowl here,
Yeah.
and they
And all
try
the
not
pedophiles
into it.
is- yeah.
And they
Fucking idiot behind it. He actually tried getting around where that lane was closing off.
Yeah.
Almost ran into the back of that motorcycle.
Hotels get filled. And,
Yeah.
and,
They're bringing in girls left and right. So I mean, obviously, sex trafficking at that time, or just plain old going out and paying somebody for sex happened.
Jesus.
But so much.
Yeah, here he comes. He's gonna pass me on the right now.
It's Europeans that drive this.
Imagine.
It's not the Europeans that find the product. Essentially, that's what they call it over there. They're not doing that. That's the local people, typically in Thailand and Cambodia. But it's the Europeans traveling through that area.
Where you going, homie?
That ability. It's mostly
Passing on the right now.
from Western Europe coming over there.
He's trying. I'm speeding up just to keep him from doing it.
A guy that was in his maybe 60s holding hands with somebody who was absolutely not his child.
There's my daily road rage.
Probably was around 10 or 12
Fucking
years
moron.
old. And we approached him in the lobby of this hotel, like, hey, who's that?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on here? Like, made a deal out of it. You know, like that happens. Like, this is happening here. You have no idea. It is happening here.
I was going to say, you're a 14-year-old girl from Cambodia mixing with John Mattingly. Oh, my goodness gracious. How amazing.
The buffalo there.
Boom. Right here.
Here he comes.
No, it really is. It's disturbing.
You're a fucking moron, dude.
People turn a blind eye to it.
Let me guess. Florida plates. Yep. That explains it.
Not everyone, just Democrats.
Well,
Right there, that white
let me
car.
go back to why I said that. If you want to get involved, you can do it from home. I don't mean sitting at your home. I mean around you. If you get involved in a local church, I
Please
guarantee
get on the
there's a local
turnpike.
group that is working on this problem. I guarantee if you contact law enforcement and ask them how to get involved, because it's not. We don't need to go into kicking down.
No, they don't.
necessarily.
They don't give a shit most of the time.
Necessary.
Yes.
But we do need you there to help people get out of the life. What typically happens in the United States is you're young, you don't have a whole lot going on for you, you get mixed up in the wrong crowd, maybe you get involved in drugs.
Comedy.
Before you know it, you've got a pimp essentially who is holding you hostage as a sex slave and won't let you get out of it. That happens for quite a while, maybe a year, maybe 6 months, maybe 2 years. When you get out of it, you're back where you were. You're out, thank God. But you're right back where you were. You don't really have a lot
Come
going
on,
on.
finish
You don't have a lot of
65.
skills.
Why are you slowing the fuck
It's
down?
not something you're going to kick immediately, and so you have to go through a healing process. I think we did it for a year after. So in Cambodia, the police
moron.
would go and rescue the kids, and they would bring them to a house that we set up where they could learn skills like cutting hair and doing all that stuff. They could also
You need an Autobahn like in
therapy and
Germany.
healing in that way, and then also like some spiritual healing as well.
Right,
to kind of,
God.
after about a year, so that they wouldn't just go right back into it. Because that's what happens. They voluntarily go back into it because they have no other option.
And the worst part is they go back in, now it's no longer profit. Look, this is not the same. I get that it's voluntary, but it's the same lie. And you end up in the same web, for example, with a lot of young girls and OnlyFans. Here's what happens. A lot of money, right? The guy's like, hey, you can be your own. I'm an entrepreneur, and you think, sure.
Right.
They go out there, they start selling their body, and then guess what happens? They're yesterday's news. Maybe now they're a little bit older, they're a little bit less attractive. Maybe they gain weight. What ends up happening is they spend all of their money because they bought the life, and the Lamborghini, the Lambos, as some people call it, the Bugatti, the Ferrari. Look at how much money I make. I'm incredibly successful. And then they're on the wrong side of, I don't know, OnlyFans. Probably the average age is in the mid-20s. And then they have to go back to the real world and work a job where they find out that their prospects are a little bit limited. Or there was that guy who ended up killing himself because his mom's OnlyFans was made public and he was bullied so much that they were relentless with it. You're sold a lie. You don't think of the consequences long term, and then it's really hard to get out because what else are you going to do that gets you such easy money? And then you say, well, Hanson, I'm trapped. I'm stuck here. Now picture that. Only there's a human being,
I'm gonna block this
physical being
motherfucker.
enforcing this violently. But it's the same lie.
It's the decay of our morality.
It really is.
It is.
Right.
It sounds old school, whatever. But we're rotting. I don't know which Russian was predicting us to collapse from the inside. You probably know.
It's probably all of them.
Yeah.
One stop great books. Yeah, this won't end. This is going to end badly. But it is. Yeah.
We're rotting. I feel like we're in the last days of Rome. I really feel.
Yeah, this guy got him hot.
Guys like Gerald. What? Seriously.
No, I throw trash in my and the weird thing is he's nice. I don't know why I feel like it just makes me feel big. Now, here's I'll get some flack for this. You want to be honest about it. And this is a question to you guys. And you can comment take your guess on this tomorrow. But remember when Michelle Obama said this is the first time I'm proud of my country?
Yeah.
I will say this. We are at a point where it's the first time where I ask
Yep,
myself,
he's pulling him over. That cop came out
protected.
for the idiot.
But he was my president. At that point in time, we weren't having sex changes for minors. At that point in time, we weren't openly supporting grooming books in libraries, right? So I'm not just talking about taxes. I'm not just talking about the state of our economy. But at a certain point, I have for the first time
Bye-bye, dude.
had to sit down and ask myself, not us, not you, not a huge portion of Americans, but they used to use this excuse for 9/11. And by the way, it was completely wrong, where they would say, well, why do you think they're attacking us? And they would point to Britney Spears. And I go, look, I understand that they think the West is decadent, but
Let's
they also
listen to
circumcise
Rossford, because I'm pretty sure
women
that's who
and
that
they
is.
off rooftops. And so, you know what? They're going to hate us no matter.
But he's not even pulling over. The guy's just staying in the lane. Let's listen to Rossford. slowing down even more in that lane now. Now he definitely wasn't trying to get him out of the way to come get me because he's right behind him. He's had plenty of time to get around him. The guy still has not left this lane though. We'll listen to it. It's on a 2-minute delay. Pretty sure that was Rossford though. They always sit there. Yep. One of the very few times the idiots get caught.
193, we can traffic stop.
Here we go. He's not stopping yet though. She said, go ahead. Because he ain't stopping. He's still driving down the road back there. He's slowed down.
75 northbound at Wellsford with Florida. 36 boy, Paul, X-ray boy. Kind of white Chevy Equinox.
Got the siren going too.
They're still rolling. Okay.
That's fucking awesome. Sorry. That is not wrong. The guy was being a fucking idiot. Oh, they did. Okay, he's on the exit. All right. We pulled him over on the exit there. Let's listen. That's a 2-minute delay, too, so he called that in a while ago. What the hell? Why is that truck pulling over?
193 Wood County. Continuing northbound, approaching Miami. Speeds are 54. Approaching Miami, speed of 54.
Let's listen to this. Giving up listening to Mud Club to listen to see what they do. I was blocking him too. I was doing what they said Jeff Gray was doing, but I was doing it on purpose because he was trying to pass down the right, then try and zip around everybody right before the lane disappeared.
193 Wood County northbound past Miami. Speeds are 50. Traffic's light. Yes, sir.
Gotta love it.
193 Wood County. I got him stopped. We're going to be on the bridge. Left shoulder. Not advice.
Left shoulder. An idiot.
Get clear. Stop on the bridge.
This guy's walking down the freeway. Oh my gosh. It's crazy day. We're probably ain't gonna hear much other thing. Until he clears them. Yeah, that guy tried to whip around me on the left-hand side and almost rear-ended a motorcycle as we were getting on 75 at 475. I blocked him there. And then he whipped around on the right, got stuck behind a bunch of trucks because he's trying to pass on the right, and got behind me again. So I literally went into that lane because I knew it was going to disappear. And what's cool is the Jeep behind me knew what I was doing, so he was giving me space to get back over when I needed to. And then I saw the cop flying up. I was like, oh shit, is he going to get me for blocking this guy? Because I've heard they do that sometimes, but that's Rossford. I mean, I hate all piggies, but every interaction I've had with them has been a decent interaction. Those are the ones that Great Lakes and Tow for Life gave that good video for. Mud Club's done with anyway.
Well, that's free with Johnny. If you have anybody else coming, you can cancel. I'll be all set here.
You're clear.
Yeah, it's probably somebody who's down. They're gonna let him go. Florida plates, though. Some rich fucker. Another Florida plate in front of me. Florida man. Okay. Sounds like it's cooled off. I'm going to turn out my watching the watchers.
Letter that's going to the CIA director, who's named William Burns. We're going to read through that one. But it also went to the CIA chief operating officer, this guy named Mac Riddis. Now, apparently he's no longer there at the CIA, but Congress is sending letters to both people, both the current director and the former chief operating officer of the CIA, saying, what did you guys do to persuade financially some of these key analysts to change their opinions? So pretty incredible. But this is what it was. Like from Congress of the United States. You can see here this letter drafted September 12th, and this one is going over to the Honorable William J. Burns, the director of the CIA. And as we said, this comes from Congress. A couple people signing off on this one. Brad Wenstrup, DPM, Mike Turner. Wenstrup is on the subcommittee for the coronavirus pandemic. Turner is on the permanent select committee on intelligence. So they're both sending this over directly to the CIA. They say, hey, director, our subcommittee and the House Permanent Select Subcommittee have received new and concerning whistleblower testimony about the agency's investigation, yours, the CIA's, into the origins of the vid. A multi-decade, senior-level, current agency officer.
There we go.
And 2021. It is unacceptable, and it calls for immediate and swift and bold action. And frankly, the evidence bears out over and over again. Fewer guns on the streets makes everyone safer, and I'm focused on everyone's constitutional rights, not just those the NRA says I should be focused on.
Yeah, it's not just the NRA. Here's one other concern from the sheriff. Here's what he told my colleague Caitlin Collins last night.
In a couple of months or a year down the road, we're the ones stuck in court, and we're the ones getting sued over all of these infringement of rights and all these other court battles. And I could be focusing so much more on crime.
Has any law enforcement officer in Albuquerque or the county actually enforced this yet?
No.
Well, we haven't issued any civil penalties, but that doesn't mean that we're not, and that we don't have the ability to do that.
But that's
this
a no,
is
right?
The pushback I get from every single. Well, it's a no this minute, but that doesn't mean that we aren't, and it doesn't mean that we don't have additional police presence. And if not this bold action, making sure that you're safe going to the grocery store, you're safe going to a baseball game, you're safe walking on a hiking trail.
Without a weapon.
Including young people, where it's illegal today to have a handgun. Openly carrying handguns. My question to law enforcement is, where are you?
She's fucking
where
nuts,
are you
man.
In that young 11-year-old?
She's on CNN trying to defend her fucking shit.
17 rounds were fired.
She needs to be fucking arrested herself.
5,000 rounds are fired at least annually in Albuquerque alone. You are not safe going to work, getting your prescription drugs, or going to a public park. And it wasn't just about a cooling off period. It's about making sure that everyone is safer while we do bolder work to get at both the drug epidemic and the gun violence epidemic. And it's not for police to tell me what's constitutional or not. They haven't supported not one gun violence effort in the state of New Mexico, including domestic violence protections, universal background checks. And I know you want to ask me a question, so I'll take a breath, but these are NRA talking points about their rights and not about anybody else's. And it's not a ban. It's a temporary pause so that we can make this community safer.
It is a ban. It says ban in the order.
So she's scrambling there.
It says ban.
Parsed together
in the order.
And just, it's defaulting to the regular talking points about the NRA and about cops don't have any authority to say their piece. They have to follow the little dictator's orders. And if they get an order to violate the Constitution, they better follow it, dang it. She's the governor. And when they don't do it because she's clearly violating the law openly, then she scolds them. Well, they're not doing anything about this, and they should work harder. So this is a total collapse of leadership. I mean, it's going to probably wreck her political career.
I hope so.
We'll see. A lot of people, even on the left, are recognizing that this was a little bit of an error. But I'm not so sure about that.
This was a huge error.
There was a lot of good cop, bad cop routine. Okay, you've got this one psycho Democrat who says that she's going to
not only that, can the cops not keep us safe, they want to disarm law-abiding people. That's fucking
go down
because of the criminals.
And then they
that's fucking crazy, man.
15 game for them. And it's all about moving that Overton window down. So it's this good cop, bad cop routine. She comes out, she's the bad cop. CNN comes out, they're the good cop. Ted Lieu comes out, he's the good cop. Other people say, wow, this is ridiculous. We wouldn't go that far. But maybe they would go somewhat further than where we're currently at. And then what we end up doing is settling at some further point down the line that really leads to the ultimate evaporation of our Second Amendment rights and other rights as well. But this is what the actual letter looked like. So the Attorney General, the gentleman we just heard from a bit, Raul Torres, sent this over to the Honorable, give me a break, little dictator.
Oh, dude.
And this is on
There's another one.
12th. The
Dude, I'm doing way over the speed limit here.
And it says, hey, dear Governor.
You went around everybody? He went around everybody.
I'm writing to inform you that my office will not defend your administration in the above referenced cases. And this is about the lawsuits, okay? So we have National Association for Gun Rights versus Grisham, Blas versus Grisham, Donk versus Grisham. She's getting sued into oblivion. We the Patriots versus Grisham. All these civil lawsuits. Boom, 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 boom. Hey, Governor, our Attorney General's office is not going to defend you in these lawsuits, so you better figure it out yourself. You issued this order on September 8th. Do I recognize my obligation as the chief legal officer to defend state officials when they're sued in their official capacity? My duty to uphold and defend the Constitution of every citizen takes precedence. Shout out to that guy. Simply put, I do not believe
so the AG said, "Oh, bitch, you fucked up."
Meaningful impact on
I think he's a Democrat too.
That she's banning law-abiding citizens from exercising their constitutional rights. The people who are doing the shootings and the killings are already breaking the law. But more importantly, I don't believe it passes constitutional muster. It doesn't. As a career prosecutor, Gross, I have grieved with too many victims of gun violence not to share your anger and frustration, especially since we had a 5-year-old shot in a drive-by shooting, not by somebody openly carrying in public. An 11-year-old was a road rage incident, also not a public carry incident, right? Both of these are in vehicles, drive-by shooting and a road rage incident. However, I encourage you
to already illegal.
More thoughtful and deliberative process
already illegal
legislature rather than taking unilateral action that infringes on the constitutional rights of law-abiding citizens.
How much time do I have before the construction? Oh, he's swinging out.
Any discernible impact on the underlying dynamics that drive gun violence.
I hate gravel haulers, man. That's how I get these fucking chips in my windshield.
Anyone other than law enforcement and other things like licensed firing ranges and other things. In short, the order prevents individuals from carrying firearms in public for the purpose of self-defense. The reach of this order, despite currently being limited to one county, is highly problematic because it purports to alter lawful firearm possessions in ways that are inconsistent with the Constitution. I agree with you. We do need to, quote, start a debate about guns. But this executive order violates core constitutional principles and
I hate it when I fucking get phone calls and it fucking stops the what? Stops the live stream. There we go.
Fine within the law. This is the Attorney General speaking. I've seen what you're trying to do here to sneak this in, to provide justification for this. This is the same thing. To be fair to Governor Lujan, she's just doing what the Biden administration does. This isn't anything that is like new. They did the same crap all the time. They said, "Oh, student loans, we got to waive your student loans because of the pandemic that happened and ended a long time ago." And they just kept postponing it, and then waiving it. And they said, "Well, we can just write off billions of dollars of student loans using the public health emergency exception." That's not really what that was for. But they just make it up. So Lujan is just doing the same thing. And this Attorney General is saying, sorry, you can't do that. In Biden's case, though, the Department of Education, for example, Miguel Cardona, he says, yeah, perfect. No, this is great. We have all of the rights to do all of these things. Don't even question this. So Attorney General says, moreover, considering the extraordinary resistance that many citizens had to COVID, I believe it's unwise to tuck gun prohibitions and bans into the public health emergency. It's near certainty that this order will be found to violate both the U.S. Constitution and the New Mexico Constitution. Why? Because the people have the right to keep and bear arms under the Second Amendment. And that's supported by a bunch of other case law like DC versus Heller, New York Rifle versus Bruin, and others. The Second Amendment rights are not unlimited, of course, but we do have the right to carry them, including the Bruin Court emphasizing that if the right is interfered with, if the law that interferes with the right is presumptively unconstitutional. Okay, Governor? So for these reasons, my office cannot undertake a defense of your order. I strongly encourage you to consider the time and energy devoted to a better solution than this. In New Mexico, they understand that there is no single solution to public safety problems. We need a lot of things like mental health, stricter gun laws, rehabilitation programs, data on gun crimes, and other things. While I understand your frustration, I urge you, reconsider this course of action and redouble your efforts to bring about lasting change through a democratic process. I can and will commit resources and be ready to assist you in building a safer community that we've sworn to protect. Signed, Raul Torres, Attorney General. And this is just great. So not only are the sheriffs not enforcing it, but also the Attorney General is like, you're on your own on those lawsuits. We're not going to be helping you on those. So thanks for playing. And very interesting. So we'll see where that one goes.
Yeah, we're almost to work.
She's going to backpedal on this or rescind it. Remember that by the time
15 minutes away,
lawsuits evolve and progress through the courts, the ban is probably going to
blocking a reckless driver from passing on the left, and guess what? A cop actually pulled him over. Working late to every day, man. Monday through Thursday, anyway. Next week, I only work. I'm off after Tuesday next week, though. We're going to a music festival in West Virginia. I forget the name of it. It's in support of opiate addiction. Well, in support of doing something about it. Why are we stopping? We got 3 miles. Yeah, recovery. There you go.
We got the YouTube's over. Our YouTube chat. Hang on.
Yeah, I guess one of I'm not going to name names, but a prominent singer that's going to be at the. Yeah,
that's why.
Prominent singer that's going to be at the
like YouTube
at the festival. His drummer
log me out in the middle of a stream.
Went through the program there with the wife, and where the wife works, and they got us passes. We could have camped too, but man, it fucking stopped here. What the fuck?
Let me figure out.
This guy's trying. Well, no, it's a hazard, so. So he's trying to get over. I wish I knew what lane the issue is in. Yeah, we got Airbnb.
Oh my gosh!
A cottage along the creek, only about 10 miles away. Because we're bringing the pug too, so it is something.
It never does this.
We're gonna leave the German Shepherds behind, though. We're gonna have either the mother-in-law or a friend of ours go and feed them.
Feds, man.
Let them out a couple times a day.
Like I was just literally.
We'll be back. We leave Wednesday or maybe Thursday night. Wednesday. Come on. Oh, this sucks. Is it this fucking lane?
Annoying. What's up, John Allen? All right, John's going over to work. Mr. Brownstone says, did she make this decision in advance?
This is going to definitely affect setting up the desktop stream. This is actually the white Jeep in front of me is actually the one that helped me keep that guy from passing everybody right before the construction zone. Looking 15 miles back. Giving a thumbs up as he went by. He just waved, laughing.
And now my password manager is not working. All right, YouTube. I can't see your chat right now. My apologies. I'll have to figure this out later.
Well, no, he's sticking to the toys. But yeah, he's a fucking animal. He'll go into a tug war with the big black German Shepherd. It's hilarious. He's been doing that since he was a baby, though.
In my view,
but he's like 3 times the size that when we got him already. Hopefully, he's about done as far as lengthwise growing. He looks like a weird teenager.
Something's just walking with my password manager now too. It's just annoying. Yeah, infuriating. Okay, so let's do a refresh, my friends, and then I've got a meeting I got to jump to, so we'll go check.
Yeah, he's even since a baby, he like gets his growl going and everything.
Says our government is not capable of protecting everyone. Then she says, since we can't protect,
he's about ready to be fixed too. The nuts be hanging, so before he starts marking shit. We just finally got him halfway potty trained. A little incident last night, but wife just fucking shampooed the carpets. So
I saw Geraldo Rivera on Newsmax last night, and the host was surprised that even he said she was wrong. Yeah, I think that there's a lot of backlash on that. Even Ted Lieu is saying the same thing. And while correlation does not equal causation, also hope you saw who the West Egg advisor is. And let me see what this one is. It's an Instagram link.
Oh, that little pug bullet tries to bully the big black German Shepherd. He's the alpha though, as far as the dogs go.
No, who is the West Exec advisor? I don't know who that is.
That's how it works out. Isn't that weird?
Jonah Ryan? I'm not sure who that is. We had Crash says, Rob, no offense intended here, but Albu.
Wish I would have seen this shit on the ways.
Phoenix is called LA East. I'm not offended at all. Albu is called Phoenix East. What is Albu? Carrie, thank you for that. And Crash is in the house. Thank you, Crash, for that one. What's Albu? I'm not sure what that even is. All right, so one final refresh, my friends, and then we will leave it there on this lovely morning. It is a beautiful Wednesday. We're going to have super busy day, no doubt. YouTube is up to something. Says
it helps me more often than Google Maps does. It responds faster to issues like this, I think, than Google Maps. I mean, they're both run by Google.
So YouTube's going through some.
I'm surprised that Google hasn't just forced it off, because Google is showing speed traps now.
I didn't know Dutch Synths got.
That's one of the main reasons.
Good.
I'm just so used to it. I've been with Waze since before Google owned them. I was
okay, so YouTube friends,
a map editor for them for a while.
Right now, so I'm going to figure that out. And then we'll
must be in that right lane because everybody's getting over.
Later today in the comments. And so, my friends, we'll leave it there on this lovely Wednesday. I hope your week is rocking and rolling.
I'm gonna let this truck in front of me over.
We've got a couple days left. It's going to be a busy day on the show. We've got impeachment fallout. The White House is ordering the media to start censoring, responding to the damn Republicans, and so on.
Okay,
so
maybe now you don't want to. It's just slowing everybody down.
Back here in a few hours to get back into it all again. And so until then, make it a great day, and I'll see you back here.
Zippering. Oh shit, my phone bill just came out. I'm broke. Is this what the issue is here? Oh no, that's still. Still got about another mile of construction. Yeah, I mean, unless that's where the incident is. I mean, there's barriers on both sides. I mean, that's the only thing is it doesn't tell you what lane. I mean, I'm sure the truckers know because they're talking, but neither the trucks on neither side are moving over to one side. So I'm thinking this is just a Gawker thing. I'm just happy they're actually doing work in the construction area here. Fuck, it's been a few weeks. It's been nothing but material sitting on the ground. Wow, fucking 9 messages. Okay, here it is. See? This is it. This fucker stopped. Why? The fucking dump trucks just stopped on the freeway. Well, here's another one. Okay. That's the blocker. No, they're trying to push everybody over. What are they doing? Painting lines? It's a good thing to be doing during rush hour, or it's noon. I guess it's not really rush hour. It's my rush hour. Bunch of trucks with the crash blockers on them. An arrow. Wow, they're trying to do this. Why not do this shit at night? Obviously, those trucks didn't even know. They would have gotten over. They'd have been blocking people from getting over. Too many drunks at night? Eh? Let's turn it on Monroe here. Monroe County. This will be the next area they're working on here. It's fucked up here. Hey, Scrubzilla. Good to see you, buddy. So I get to speed up for about a mile and then get off. Can you look at call, see where he's at? Come on, purple car, get in there. Get in there. Get up to speed. You're almost doing the speed limit. One-third, really?
Central NC 50-50. You guys operated a priority 1 for the deputy.
Well, I believe you. I believe it. I don't know if they're would say drunk. I would say have had drinks. You know, I mean, I'll have a couple beers with dinner before I go to my second job at night or in the evening. I'm not drunk. Gorilla Grown. That was crazy though. If you rewind it to the beginning of the about 20 minutes earlier. You heard me yelling about this car trying to pass me on the left right before the construction zone. And I did my old block, which some cops will give you shit for doing. Even though you're forcing an idiot to drive a little bit safer. But he actually got him because he swung around hard on the right, zoomed around a bunch of semis. Okay, that's late though. Yeah, okay. I gotcha. Yeah, I mean, those are bar closing hours, so that makes sense. You ain't got to go home, but you can't stay here. All right, let's drive around. Or drive home, smashed. And smash into somebody. Free eighth or edible for new customers. There you go. Yeah, go home and crash. All right, missing. I'll probably set up a desktop after a bit, just depending on how busy it is when I first get there. I don't know how many my appointments are going to be there. I'll try and get it set up. And gas shot up again here. Fuck, 379.
That's so cute. It's the one.
What's the one?
I have a trouble with subject in the area. 140 South Grand River Drive. The man throwing things at a semi in front of the location, standing on his property. The caller exited from the road. He then picked up the stick towards the caller and also tried to hold at the puppy.
Look at this car out in the middle of the intersection here. The fuck is this? Look at this guy. Oh, Jesus. The morning of, well, my watch is telling me to go for a walk. Not now. That's how gentle I drive. It thinks I'm sitting down. Yeah, it's true. One of them being Adderall. Straight up amphetamines. Hey, Hiro. No, it literally is. It's the chemical. It's not meth, but just straight amphetamines. It actually says that on the bottle whenever it's generic. The only time I've ever done any Ubering was when last time I was in Chicago, when I proposed to Miss Indoctrination. We Ubered and Lyft ride all around Chicago. That was shit, 2000. I mean, the way I live and work now, it doesn't make any sense. You know, I drive at least 100 miles a day. Oh no, there's appropriate uses for it for sure.
12035 Oxford Street, 12035 Oxford.
I used the cannabis to help manage my PTSD.
Grandma is off her rocker. She kicked in the bedroom door. Sylvia's niece, Martel, 73-year-old female, no weapons in the home. Grandma was verbal in the background. Caller disconnected.
You can get some distance on those e-bikes. I was checking one out a couple months ago. Not the type I drive, but
Central 2401, please stand for traffic.
Central, can you repeat that, please?
Will you be en route to the family event? I'm not showing that you were on 94.
I am. I've already answered one call today.
Humphrey and East First. You'll be seeing Muhammad regarding 2 missing handguns. He had them in his vehicle and just discovered that they're gone.
missing handguns. I guess that's one way of doing it instead of a boating incident. It fell overboard while we were fishing. Tragic boating incident. Why my gun is now gone. Switch right back. All right, guys. Well, thanks to that traffic, I'm a little bit behind where I wanted to be. Let me see what the wife is saying to me. I wasn't even going to try and answer these messages on the road.
Central. I'm taking driver passenger over to the Sunoco. We took one of the driver to the Beaumont.
All right, guys. I'll see you in a bit. We'll go live again. Peace. Have a great day.